Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil, and in the next series of videos we are going to be looking at the most recent South Coast Series tournament hosted by Entoyment at the BIC. So it's an interesting little tournament here. We only had 8 players, but we had an absolutely amazing time in a lovely air-conditioned room whilst it was scorching outside, which was quite nice. On the table we have Ben versus Wes, and in fact joining me for this we have...
Hi Phil, it's myself, Ben. Thank you for having me back on the channel.
No worries, you provide us enough content. I feel it's only fair to get you to tell us exactly how you're whooping all of our butts. So, but yeah, we've got obviously yourself on table 1 for game 1. Very early on a Sunday morning, but like I said, luckily there was air conditioning. So let's crack on through the lists. So what devastation have you brought to the table?
My favourite Scum. I do like flying Scum. So I've got the Mandalorian with Fearless, the Child, L337, Greedo, Gunner, Contraband Cybernetics, and the Razor Crest to give me a hidden illicit. We've got Leema Kai with a Dorsal Turret and Proton Torpedoes, and Manaroo with Notorious, Gar Saxon, Contraband Cybernetics, Punishing One, and R5P8, so that's the reroll droid, and finally Kanan Jarrus with Mole.
Interesting list there, and that's the original 1-slot Mole. For those of you that are curious,
yeah,
you have been loving flying the Mando recently. I can't remember seeing you fly a Scum list without the Mando for a good couple of months now. So it has been quite interesting to see that. But coming up against you, and those of you that watch the channel quite often will probably be already familiar with this list, it's Wes flying his Empire list. He has Captain Kagi in the Lambda with Jamming Beam, Darth Vader, Captain Hark, Ablative Plating, and the ST-321 title. We've got Meeko in the TIE Fighter with Elusive and Heavy Laser Cannon. We have Gideon Hask also in the TIE Fighter with Elusive, Marksmanship, and Precision Ion Engine. And then we have 2 Gamma Squadron bombers, both with Skilled Bombardier and Seismic Charges. One of them, the blue, has Colonnettes, and the white one has cluster mines. So adding just a little bit of difference there, which is quite nice. I like it actually, having different options. And I'm trying to remember what I think this was Assault the Satellite Arrays, if I remember rightly, for game 1.
Yeah, I believe it was, yeah.
So obviously you have come up against this list before. In a different variation. You had the 2 fire sprays and the Mando. Some would say you're a little bit prepared for this. What were you expecting to come out of this, do you reckon?
In what sense? In this match?
Yeah, so were you what was your priority targets, for instance? Where were you thinking that the damage was going to come from?
So this scenario I always find quite difficult. Now my problem would be the bombers. It's very difficult to get away from the bombers, and I flew against Wes's list before, and don't count out the Lambda shuttle with Darth Vader. That can really cause some hurt. So I was very wary about Darth Vader, trying to avoid as many Darth Vader triggers as possible. It's great to see the Lambda shuttle on the board, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. You don't see enough of it, to be honest.
I love the model. I think it's great. And of course, having Darth Vader in it.
It feels right. It actually feels right, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think the bombers pose quite a lot of a threat, because you can quite easily come in there and just deny board space, making it very difficult for me. I tend to like to fly fairly close together, so I can try and focus fire. My list, the way I kind of use my list is I try to go more for damage and jousting as opposed to objectives. So having all my ships sort of bunched up together is quite a nasty target for bombs.
Yeah, it does make it tricky for bombs, like mines bombs especially. Mines, not as much, because obviously one takes it out and it should be okay. But I mean, you've got a lot of juicy targets out there. None of them are a huge amount of points, but they will start quickly racking you up the score. But I do agree, it is really nice to see the lander on the board with Vader on there. It feels right. I'm loving seeing your inclusion of Kanan as well, actually, because
Kanan has been absolutely fantastic. His ability. I mean, you've only got. I mean, he's not got Moldy Crow on there. He's not got any crazy upgrades. He's just got Maul. So I say just got Maul, but
just got Maul.
The ability to shut down attack dice is huge, especially going up against Proton Torpedoes. It feels quite bad when your opponent fires a Proton Torpedo and has to drop down to 3 dice, and it really helps keep my front ships alive.
Yeah, and obviously adding Maul on there, giving you that extra force as well. I know the overlay is only showing 1, but as you can see by the Hawk there, it does have the 2 force. That's really clever. I mean, I'd never really even considered Kanan in that sort of sense until we saw Quinn fly him in Flight Academy Season 2, and suddenly I was just like, wow, that's really powerful. And it again, it's one of those things that as soon as you see it, you start looking at it and going, I should probably try that at some point. It looks like it's good fun.
Yeah, it really screws up with your opponent as well, because really your opponent should. I feel like you should try and kill Kanan as early as possible. But that's not easy because Kanan will just sit at the back. He has got force to use himself. He can use his ability on himself, and it's quite easy for him to use that ability. Like some pilots have to line up it in a certain way, and it's quite tricky. But Kanan, you just need to point at your friendly ships, and there's not like a range restriction, the 0 to 2, anything like that. So it's quite easy to use.
And when you've got some big hitters sitting out in front of it in the Jumpmaster, the Razor Crest, and even the Y-Wing, you feel okay having Kanan at the back and not contributing as much on shots because he's got a different role there. But that is an interesting coronet that's just been dropped there. Doing a K-turn straight off the bat I like it. Interesting.
K-turns, it's great maneuvers by Wes. Just denying the objectives or making it difficult. And it's should work really well because Manaroo is a huge base, a large base.
It's going to be tricky to avoid that.
And Mando is a medium base, so it's going to be difficult to get away from them.
Especially when you've got that obstacle right there, trying to fit through. So you've just missed it there.
Yeah, that obstacle was really efficient. That tiny little obstacle really forced me just to go, you know what, I'm going to have to take on this coronet.
Yeah, because from that position, I don't think there's any way, unless you were to barrel roll away and just completely disengage, I don't think you can avoid that coronet. And if you did that, you could potentially be getting in the way of Mando there. So it's definitely a really well-placed coronet, and that's what I love about some of those mines. They may never go off in a game, but if they force your opponent to have to reevaluate how they're going to approach, then it's almost done its job in that sense.
I really like the way that Wes has set up these two bombers because he's got the other bomber that's closer to the middle, that can follow up on another bomb to deny the middle. So he's got one threatening the side, so my turn in, and then one threatening in the middle for when I do turn in. So I think Wes has played that really well, and then he's got the 2 TIE fighters coming around the flank, pick up some objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. And those TIE fighters as well, they've got, I mean, heavy laser cannon on Del Meeko is pretty good. And you've obviously got Gideon with marksmanship. If he can start pumping the damage through, that's going to be one scary TIE fighter there, to be honest. And you've got, obviously, Vader, who's going to be there trying to cause damage, so hopefully triggering ready for Gideon.
Yeah. The Lambda is ideal for picking up objectives as well, I think. But it doesn't need to boost, doesn't need to barrel roll.
Yeah.
Lots of health.
We don't see enough Lambdas. And one thing I'm going to be curious about is when we're going to get the Lambda reprinted. Are we going to see new things for it? Obviously, I know they recently announced I believe it's the YT-24, the Bomber, and the Alpha class were coming next year for reprints. So happy days for the Imperials and Rebels there. But there's still some ships, and the Lambda is one of them. I'd love a reprint. I'd probably even buy it. I would have 3 then. Not sure how often you're going to need to fight 3.
Yeah, be interesting to see what they do with the YV-240.
Yeah.
Because that's always been a dash has always caused issues.
Yeah. Like his points were, I mean, was it when 2.0 first came out and he was so many points that people just went, no, I'm not going to fly him. But even when they brought him down and done things to try and mitigate it, he's still a risky one to fly. He could be really, really good, but he's just a risky one to fly because it's such a huge investment to fly dash, especially when you've got the Outrider title on there. But can work really well. But just missing out on that target lock there. Yeah. Perfectly played. I mean, you just missed out on a shot on blue in round 1 by millimeters, and then again, just missing out there. That's actually really good for that Gamma Squadron. He's only going to get shot at by 1 ship, which is absolutely ideal for him. I don't even think Kanan wouldn't even have range. So it'll just be Manaroo, and I don't think Manaroo even has arc, because by the look of it, his arc is her
facing
arc,
facing
forwards. So it's almost a shame that Wes doesn't have any ships closer in to capitalise on that and get some shots off himself. But early game, this is where you need to start getting those positions set. And also the first round of scoring coming up at the end of this turn. So with those TIE fighters coming around the top, are you feeling that you need to go and get them, or are you still more concerned about those bombers at the moment? I
mean, I'll probably switch to the bombers are going to fly away, K-turn, come back in. And once the bombers have got rid of those bombs, on the initial engagement, I'm not too concerned about them. I think my main priority would be to try and hold the middle. Yeah. Because it's expecting those 2 TIE fighters to come in and try and engage with the TIE fighters, maybe pick off a TIE fighter or 2 before the Lambda can come round.
But yeah, that would be ideal, because I see those TIE fighters are quite nimble in comparison to the Lambda, and judging by their current position, I don't think the Lambda is going to try and turn in too hard, because it won't want to bump into them again. But it was a nice round of point scoring there for Wes, picking up 3 points, and you've got 2. But yeah, I mean, those 2 TIE fighters, I'd be very concerned about coming right in against all of your
I think you'd have to
ships.
Slow play it a little bit.
I think the way you've got your ships as well, all close together, 3 of them have turret arcs, they're all quite bulky. It's a very challenging prospect, and it's not easy to be able to get around them there, but it looks like a really well-placed cluster mine in there. That is going to be causing a lot of issues for you.
Yeah, you don't often see cluster mines, but
no,
they are very expensive. But if you can get them just right, that's another bomb.
Seismic charge going down.
Yeah. So he's covered off all angles there, because even if I went forward, then you could just detonate the gas cloud, which has got the lock on it.
Yeah, I mean, Manaroo is going to be taking some pain right now.
Oh, yeah.
And if Manaroo hasn't got the right move in, you could be even seeing Mando getting a little bit of damage coming through. So those are some very well-placed bombs there. I love the bomber. I think they're great. Yeah. Again, it's nice to see them back on the board.
Skilled Bombardier is just too good to pass up.
Well, Skilled Bombardier plus the nimble bomber ability.
Brilliant.
It's not quite as good as, say, Ibn Azameen, but it's pretty darn close there. It does make it good fun, and that is the Coronet.
I hazard a guess that that's one of your favourite ships, pilots. Emon.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him in the Slave One, actually. I think that he's probably one of my favourite fire spray pilots, because I just love, especially when you could have Tobias Beckett, Boba Fett on them as well. Move an obstacle, pop yourself on it. Ouch.
So I got over a Coronet and 2 cluster mines.
Yep.
I don't think I can avoid the other one either, so it's going to be all 3.
Well, you are Ion now as well, so you are definitely in a bad spot.
Yeah. The new Ion rules, though, make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Being able to swing left or right instead of just going forwards.
And that was a direct hit as well that went through, so that was an incredible set of mines going off there. And you kind of got to hope that you're not in range 1 of one of those obstacles, otherwise that's more damage going through on Manaroo.
Very close.
And it's a good job that this scenario is not half points. But those bombers are really doing well so far. I mean, we haven't had.
I mean, that's half points on a ship without even shooting at it.
Yeah. I was about to say, we haven't even thrown any red dice in anger yet, and Manaroo's not in a good way. I think it just goes to show how strong bombs and mines are now. Because I feel they go through phases, and there was a point towards the back end of 1.0 where they just became ridiculous, and then 2.0 came out and people were a little bit, you didn't see bombs as much. And then now with 2.5, I think we are seeing more bombs and more munitions being used.
Yeah.
To really good effect, actually. Oh, that's an aggressive move in there.
Especially electro-chaff missiles are really hot right now.
Yes.
They are nasty.
They are very good. Very clever little bomb, those. And they are very effective. I'm trying to think back to 1.0 and think if there's any of the bombs and mines and devices that haven't come over, but I think all of the devices have come over now.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, the only munition that I think they got rid of was harpoon missiles.
Yeah.
Harpoon missiles are nasty.
I never actually got around to using them because I didn't buy that pack until late on in 2.0 because I wanted the different coloured ships, and I got a Spanish version, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't read Spanish, so, and it's been that long I can't remember what they did. All I knew was people did not like them. So yeah. I think they were up there with TLT for cards that people were just like, I'm glad they haven't come back.
Twin laser turret, yeah.
twin laser turret was just brutal.
Oof.
That is some aggressive play there from those TIE fighters coming right round.
Yeah.
And as I said, the Lambda not getting quite round.
I don't think all my ships will be able to get in. I know Mandalorian probably won't be able to get a shot this turn.
Mando's going to struggle, especially with Kanan where he is. If he doesn't bump, I'll be impressed. Leema's got a nice little gap there between Kanan and the objective to swing in, and especially with her Proton Torpedoes. I mean, she's there for that big 2-hitter.
Yeah, she's literally just a 4-point Proton Torpedo carrier.
I mean, 4 points for an I-5 Y-Wing with Dorsal Turrets and Proton Torpedoes. That's pretty good. I mean, I can't even remember what Leema's ability, but I think I remember you saying you haven't taken her for ability.
So I managed to use it a couple of times. It's quite difficult to get off, but I believe it's if the before you engage, I think it's before the engagement phase, if there's no enemy ships pointing at you, basically in your arc or in your arc, you get to acquire a lock in your whole front section.
Yes, I remember that now.
So if you plan it well, you could essentially take a focus if you know that no one's going to be in your arc, and then you can get your lock for your Proton Torpedoes, and then you can double modify your Proton Torpedoes. It's quite difficult to do, though. You almost kind of need to be at the flank.
Which is not exactly a place a Y-Wing wants to be.
No.
It's not a flanker.
Yeah, it was mainly for the loadout and the pilot skill, to be honest. If the ability comes off, then it's a bonus.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure, but I think we tend to see more of that in this version. People taking ships and not necessarily for the pilot ability. I know certainly there's a lot of resistance Y-Wings that don't always, you just take them for their loadout and their
what you can stack them up with. I think now with the way the points work, you are almost looking at it going, right, well, if I have this pilot, he's got more loadout than, say, another pilot, but he's worth maybe a few less points. His ability's okay. If I trigger it, great. If I don't, well, it is what it is. But something you are just essentially looking at it going, I want something that is going to be efficient at the stuff I put on it rather than the stuff it comes with.
Yeah.
Some pilots, obviously, you're going to take them for their ability. I'm thinking like Wedge, Poe, Mando's pretty good. Kanan, his ability, but some of them less so.
Well, it's like, this is a very tight call to try and get the Proton Torpedoes.
Oh, when you looks like you got them.
It's down to millimeters again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just got it. Yeah, Manaroo's ability, never really used it. Just purely for the chassis and the loadout.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look. Do you get caught by that seismic? Mando, I think, did.
Yeah.
But Manaroo did, in fact, get caught by it. So Manaroo down to 3 hull. That is...
And still got another bomb to go.
Yeah. Still got another one to go over. Can you survive it? But it looks like we could have no Proton Torpedoes here because Kagi has just taken effect.
Yeah, I completely forgot about this. And what an ability to use there. Because
absolutely
that
well
just protected that TIE fighter from a Proton Torpedo.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I played against Captain Kagi and I completely forgot about his ability because you just don't really see them.
No, yeah, I mean, like I said, you don't see the Lambda enough, but that is a fantastic ability. moving that target up, so it's again way out of range for Leema, really ruining that alpha strike that you were going for, because that could have deleted Meeko there, or at least put enough hurt on him that Manaroo could have swept up.
That's a really good. Well, I'd almost say that was a good meta call against Rebel alpha strikes.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's you take all the locks, don't you? From a certain range? Yeah, and transfer them to Kagi, yeah.
Yeah, so Kagi's ability, at the start of the engagement phase, you may choose one or more friendly ships at range 0 to 3. If you do, transfer all enemy lock tokens from the chosen ships to you.
Oh, in range, up to range 3 is...
Yeah.
Oh, you stay well out of range.
And let's have a look. So, do you spend that focus? Yeah, I think you got to there on Manaroo. You don't want to run the risk of another crit.
Yeah.
And now we got Meeko. That's a shame. Like Gideon, that was the perfect opportunity for Gideon as well there with your amount of damage. I think you just sneaking range 2 there by the look of it.
I think we called that range 2.
Oh, that's not good.
That's unfortunate.
Especially with them being marked with the child, and that's on Mando instead. But there's good call on Notorious there. That's a sneaky.
Yeah. You can work combo quite well with Gar Saxon.
Yeah.
So you can remove a orange or red token to increase your dice. Depends on the firing order, but yeah, Notorious is just so good.
And there we go, seeing it come into effect. I think at the moment Scum again have just got so many tricks up their sleeve. It is absolutely crazy. It's no wonder you see high percentage of Scum ships. 3 hits going through, and R5P8 4 hits going through.
Yeah, this is where I was kind of feeling that Manaroo is going to go down, so I need to get something in return.
Yeah, be as savage with Manaroo as you can. There's definitely 1 damage going through on Del there regardless. No tokens there for him though, so it's going to be...
That's a good roll.
That's a good roll.
Saved
him. Is he going to spend Elusive? Yeah, why not spend it?
Yeah.
I think you rerolled too many dice there, but same result. So that is 2 damage going through on Meeko, and I don't think you've got any other shots at him. So that is, again, another favourable turn. Oh, actually does Kanan just sneak in?
Long shot.
Long shot just unobstructed as well due to the parallel nature. I mean, hit crit. That's just rude now, Ben. I mean, I know he's really hurt Manaroo, and
who needs mods there?
Yeah. I mean, focus and the force are available if you needed it.
God, could you imagine if Kanan and Jarrus had access to Moldy Crow?
Oh, I mean, we don't need to imagine. We saw it at Flight Academy, but yeah, it would be brutal.
And there's that Gideon.
Meeko is down.
Oh, Meeko, yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that heavy laser cannon anymore. But it's not a bad return.
Although I'm sure Wes would still be very happy if Manaroo was to go down and trade for a TIE fighter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, those TIE fighters are still so cheap. You shoot them and kill them, and you think, yeah, and then you're like, oh, yeah, it's only either 2 points or 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points for named TIE fighters. I think the most expensive named TIE fighter at the moment,
Howlrunner,
I think is 4? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Howlrunner 4. And then the rest are all 3s. and 2. So, yeah. I mean, cheap as chips, really. You can just fly fly up to 8 of them quite easily and still have other things in your list. But let's see. Does Wes drop more bombs on you?
Just to be sure.
Yeah, looks like we got another seismic charge dropping there.
Yeah, it might end up causing his own chips a few issues, but
yeah,
you can guarantee taking down Manaroo, then yeah.
I mean, yeah, because Manaroo's never going to be able to get away from that obstacle.
Not with,
Which way? And you've gone that way as well, so
yeah.
So guaranteed going over it. I think no matter which way you went, you were going to clip it regardless.
Yeah.
So exactly how painful is that? Not too painful.
Not as bad as the other. Yeah, not as bad as the other ones.
Just
but
one.
So still so much damage from
bombs. Yeah.
Bombs. Yeah.
I mean, you could in theory survive if they have a bad round of shooting. And you've put yourself in a really nice position to mess up with the bombs there, or with the bumping even. Ooh, sneaky Kanan just getting over the Mando there.
Yeah, it's trying to keep him back a bit and then keep on the keep hold of that objective.
Yeah.
Don't want to put Kanan too close in the middle.
I mean, definitely scoring that TIE fighter was a massive boon for you there, points-wise, putting you just in the lead. Because I think with Manaroo being so low down, you definitely want to be getting as many points up on that board as quickly as possible, because it's going to be 5 points for Wes very shortly, and that's going to be quite painful. It almost feels like Wes is not playing the objectives as much, but really just having fun flying. I mean, look at these bombers. They're just all over the place. I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I mean...
No, you drop one. No, you drop one. Watch me drop it. I'll do the same.
Yeah.
Just having great fun out there.
They'll get back to the hangar and they'll just be tallying up, oh, I did this much damage. Whilst the TIE fighters are right in the middle going, oh, can we get some bombs as well, please?
See, precision ion engines.
Yes.
Love to see it.
Absolutely amazing.
Great maneuver.
Yeah.
So easy to forget as well. I believe I forgot that he had precision ion engines. I mean, there wasn't much I could do about it anyway, but...
Yeah. You don't see them very often.
Yeah. So
that is
Darth Vader.
Yeah. Absolutely ideal. Because you'll most likely get rid of that focus rather than a health. But it's still...
If he kills Manaroo, he should get that objective as well, the center objective, which Manaroo is sneakily hidden. Another Scum tactic.
Yeah.
Hide the objective.
Have bases so big that you can't see the objective.
Yeah.
Yeah, because because Leema Kai looks like she's too far away from it. Even if Mando gets in there, it would still be Lambda and TIE Fighter versus Mando, because I don't think there's much chance of Manaroo surviving this round, unfortunately.
No, poor Kagi is going to suffer a double modded Proton for his for his sacrifices for taking the target locks.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't think Kagi's going to mind too much. I think I would also prefer to take a double modded Proton Torpedo on my Lambda rather than my 3 health TIE Fighter. So, it's not terrible. And moving Mando's target lock over to Gideon by the look of it.
So I think that Seismic will get both the shuttle and Mando, which I'm sure Wes is happy just to take 1 damage.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, definitely clip Manaroo and the shuttle. Not sure if he's. I don't think it would get Mando or the TIE fighter. So that's not a bad exchange there, to be honest. And there's the Darth Vader trigger, taking the focus away because you definitely don't want to lose that last bit of health, just in case.
So,
out of somewhere you can survive these 2 range 1 shots. I mean,
should be able to PS kill Manaroo.
Yeah, I mean, surely you'll be going. Yeah. I'm assuming that's going. That looks like a Mando into Gideon there.
Right, so changing one to a crit with Greedo.
Yep.
And thinking about the Force.
Yeah,
going full offensive.
I think you kind of have to. He's got no mods there. It's got elusive, but if you can PS kill Gideon, that is going to be 2 crits going through. Now spending elusive there. So 2 crits. You might have to put another shot into Gideon, which is not something you really want to do.
No.
Wounded pilot and console fire there. So Gideon could blow himself up in a moment. But do you switch and Leema range 1? I think.
Yeah, just to try and guarantee it.
It's disappointing. You didn't want to have to do it.
No, it took the focus away from the Proton. But
yeah,
there's a chance to PS kill Gideon.
Which you do, you manage it.
Which, if Manaroo gets really lucky, might keep Manaroo alive, although you have to survive a range 1 shot.
Yeah.
With focus. Probably not likely.
I still think that, although that's now 6 points that Wes has given up, the fact that he hasn't taken a Proton to Kagi is still a big win for him. He's made you have to spend 2 shots into Gideon to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, Kagi is double the points.
Yeah.
Of that TIE fighter that I just killed.
And he's got more stuff there, like Vader is just going to be incredibly powerful. And the rear arc as well, so he can just fly on by you and still be shooting you. So let's have a look. 2, that's not bad.
Well, that should do it.
That is it. That's Manaroo gone.
Much needed points for Wes.
Levels it up really nicely there. And I don't think those bombers are going to have range on anything or arc. So you'll just about sneak into the next round ahead.
Yeah, so I think Kagi's in a really good position there. She should be able to get 2 objectives in 1.
Yeah, so
should be in range 1.
Yeah, definitely claiming the objective behind, but don't forget medium and large spaceships only count as 2.
Yeah, they're both counting. For some reason, I keep thinking that large bases count more, that they don't.
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, no arc from the bombers. Ooh, does he catch Mando? That's why I'm not a big fan of the
chunky rulers.
The chunky rulers.
Yeah, they are. Although they're great for casual play, I think they're a bit fiddly for intimate work.
Yeah, going into turn 5, points are still really close, 13 to 12, and it is getting brutal and getting interesting. But whilst we're waiting for those dials to go down and see if Wes wants to throw any more bombs at you, just want to remind you, if you guys do like what we're doing here at Art of Arc Gaming, you can support us on Patreon with the link in the description below. We do have some exclusive content going up there very shortly, and obviously some behind the scenes stuff of what we have coming up. So I think at that point you were probably resigned to losing Manaroo. So had you sort of stopped counting her in your plans going forward at that point?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had a feeling that Manaroo was gone. I think from the last turn, it was just trying to cause as much damage as possible before Manaroo went down.
And I think Manaroo did a fairly good job there, stripping some tokens and just being a general nuisance. So can't really complain on that.
I think my next focus was just to try and burn down this shuttle as quickly as possible before the bombers could really get in.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points, 6 points. And although the lander's got a lot of health with focus fire, it can go down pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the target locks there, so hopefully you can get that Proton Torpedo off. All depends on how...
Nice turn.
Oh, yeah. That is nice. And then you've got the other bomber ready to come in as well. Going to make it tricky there for Kanan. And if they can take Kanan out, that's a nice little 4 points there as well. Because the Hawks, he's only got 5 health.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be shooting the Mandalorian. He's so difficult to kill.
I mean, I've come up against your list with the Mandalorian in it quite a few times, and I don't think I've ever managed to take the Mandalorian down. For me, he's almost like Poe, in that he's a huge amount of points in your list, but it's almost, unless you've got something designed to take out a ship like that, it's almost not worth going for it. It's almost better picking off some of the lower hanging fruit, as it were. I mean, taking out Manaroo the way Wes did was absolutely fantastic and just worked out really well. But now I'd be looking at it and going, right, Kanan would probably be my next focus, or Leema Kai in the Y-Wing. I wouldn't even bother with Mando.
I find a lot of people tend to leave the Mandalorian alone. I mean, it takes so much to kill it. You're just going to regen the Force.
Yeah.
And L337. I could just pop that if it chuck a Proton Torpedo and get a really good result. Just go right, L337, reroll all those.
It is horrendous. I hate that card so much because
and it works so well on the Mandalorian though.
Yeah.
Because the main weakness is the dial. As soon as it gets stressed, it's like right, it's got to go forward to clear that stress.
Yeah.
And the L337, when you flip it, really changes the way that ship operates.
It's weird to have a card that's so effective on both sides like that. Obviously, L337, to force the reroll, you can only do it once, but it is so incredibly effective. But then to get your bank speed blue on a ship like that, it's just crazily good.
It works really well on the Hawk as well.
Yeah.
This is a big shot going in. So, managed to change one with Fearless.
So,
this is Mandalorian. Shooter.
And there's Greedo. So that is a big 4 hits going into the Lambda. Spending that focus, I think you have to, just to take that on the shields.
Definitely.
So that is painful.
I believe Wes managed to get in a Darth Vader trigger.
Yes.
Yep.
So a cheeky little point off of the Mando there. Oh, another great shot from Leema. And there's an evade. But yeah, as large base ships like this, that is one of their big downsides. As soon as they start getting focus fired, they don't have many evades. And in fact, some of them have no evades if you look at the Ghost and the Decimator. It's always one of the things that sort of, I love flying them, but it also puts me off them a little bit that they just die quickly. You've got to go in swinging with them. Well, that's not a great attack back either. There's your evade. I think having Greedo on Mando as well is really sneaky.
Yeah.
Because being an I5, it's very rare that Greedo is going to cause you issues.
Yeah, I find it really effective on the Mandalorian because, as we were talking about, a lot of people probably don't want to shoot him.
Yeah.
So you're less likely to have the I6s or I5s shoot and trigger Greedo against them.
Yeah.
So I generally found that Greedo is always used for offense rather than against me.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of damage going through on Kagi there. He's now down to 2 hull. Ooh. Hit crit coming.
Oh, that was a lucky roll.
That was very good there. Because that would have been a crit going through, which wouldn't have been very nice. Would have got your force back, but let's see what happens here. Nothing. Another Kanan trigger there as well. Oh, target lock reroll. Nice. Bit of shield off. It's definitely swinging back more into your favour now. Scoring wise, let's have a look. You scored quite well there actually, so it's 15-13 now. And you've got a potential 6 points in the bag with Kagi, and it's not really anywhere Kagi can go to not get taken out.
Kagi could do a 0 stop. Maybe one of his best options, just hold that objective.
Yeah.
Got the rear arc as well.
So it could trigger Vader. Just with your ships being quite healthy at this point, it doesn't make any of them a prime target. I mean, the Mando having 8 hull, obviously he's a good 7 points, but it's not an easy 7 points to get. Ooh, interesting. Cheeky little seismic there. Probably hoping to catch Kanan with that.
Kanan, yeah.
I like it. It's got to be careful though, because it's not going to be. His bombers could get trapped by that quite easily, especially if he wants to keep arc on things.
I think he's willing to.
Yeah, willing to suffer the damage.
One. I mean, they've got 6 health as opposed to the Hawks really don't have a lot of health.
Yeah. And I think sometimes you do have to just say, what the hey with your bombs and just go for it. If you know you can get some good damage in there. I mean, what we're looking at, hoping to trigger the seismic charge onto Kanan, potentially get him in arc of Kagi, do a Vader trigger, and then take a shot, possibly get him off the board.
Okay, he's just trying to move her away. Yep. Looks good.
Nice. I think that might be out of range 1 there, and sneaking just into range 1 of that objective as well. So really nice play there. What can blue do to get out of the way of the seismic and still be relevant to the shooting? I think blue might just have to take the hit.
Let me could turn. You could turn to the right. Try and track down Leema.
No, he's just going for it. I think it's concentrate on Mando time here, possibly. Yeah. I mean, the Lambda's not going anywhere. Even if it does do a maneuver, it's not going anywhere. So Kanan is going to be quite a nuisance in there if there's another range 1s, just dropping them down. It's got 1 force to do it, but I'm wondering actually will we see the stop and then the Hark trigger?
That's a good call.
Oh no, he was trying to go all the way through.
Maybe he's just trying to break off.
Yeah.
He's taken quite a pounding if he was able to break away there.
Yeah. It's now curious, what is Mando doing? Is Mando doing anything that could have got past you? Most likely.
Amanda's stressed, although I've used Contraband Cybernetics, haven't I?
Yeah, so you'd have to be doing something white or something blue.
The only blues are forwards.
Yeah. Which wouldn't be particularly unhelpful for you. But obviously you've got Leema Kai there as well, and obviously if you sort of shoot Mando forward, would he get in the way of Leema and vice versa?
Yeah, it's just staying there.
I will say it does make a change for all of the action to be focused right in the middle of the board. Normally, when I have you on the channel, all the action is focused right up to the top of the board, so we're having to strain to see it.
Well, I thought I'd mix it up for you, Phil.
Yeah, I fully appreciate it. I would sometimes feel that I need to have a camera on both sides just in case, but I don't have enough equipment for all of that. Plus, having to drag it all down to the BIC that day was bad enough as it was.
So I think I was trying to get that objective. I'm not sure if I got in range with the wiring. There's not a lot else I can do with the wiring. It's just try and push over to his objectives.
Well, that is a damage on Kanan and the Blue Gamma Squadron there from the gas cloud, so that is ideal. Where is Vader triggering?
I just can remember his trigger.
He has been pretty good on it.
Would you go for the Hawk here to try and get rid of that focus? I mean, Mandalorian could just say, right, okay, I'll just take a shield.
I think Wes has gone for Leema Kai, which I think's in the nicest way the wrong option.
Choice.
I would have gone either for the Mando or Kanan, to be honest.
Probably taking that focus away, because Kanan will probably spend one on his force.
Yeah.
Interesting, cool.
But Kagi's still around with one. Kagi's gone now because he can't evade that.
Yeah, that's Kagi gone.
Oh, that's big points in your favour there. Now, I don't think Wes can actually... I think he can only score one more point on the objective here, so can he do 8 damage onto the Mando? Unfortunately, it would have to be an incredible train of crits to do it.
Nice crit train. Yeah. Anything's possible next ring.
True, I'm just trying to figure out... Well, not like that, unfortunately.
Just drop the shot from Kanan.
Yeah. Oh, one did go through there.
That was a Greedo.
Yeah.
That was actually a Greedo against me there. I wasn't able to shoot.
Yeah. So that's a shame. So we just got the final Gamma Squadron to go and see what he can actually pull out of the bag, but that does take you down to 7 health. Oh, that's a good shot. 2 crits and a hit. Not going to be enough, but it is pretty darn good. So that is going to be a nice evading there as well, 2 evades. And then going into the points totaling there. Oh no, Kanan just having a final shot.
Yeah. Oh, sneaks one in.
rubbing some salt in the wound there onto blue. But those bombers surviving the whole way through, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, that was an interesting game. It looked... The scores don't
Wes
do
had a very
justice.
strong... Yeah, I was very worried when he managed to wipe out Manaroo so quick with bombs.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, taking Manaroo out so quickly was very impressive. I mean, 23-14. Obviously, I've spoken to you a bit after the tournament, and you said this is probably one of your tougher games. That points total doesn't look it, but we're just double checking that final one. Yeah, that points total doesn't look it, but that was quite a tough game there. It felt and looked really good, and seeing Manaroo go down so quickly to bombs was actually made a change. But very well played there from you, Ben. And again, Wes flew that fantastically. I loved watching those bombers dance around. That was great fun. But yeah, what a good game. That was obviously round 1 of the South Coast series. We've got 4 more rounds coming up. So it'll be interesting to see what we get on the table and who ends up trying to take that overall top prize. But Ben, thank you very much for joining us for that on the table and on commentary.
Oh, thank you.
And guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, link for the Patreon in the description below, and we will see you next time for round 2.